Hi, welcome to class. We're the only two right now, but the other ones will show up eventually, right? I hate my life. I hate my life.
And Professor Sunreis Productions!
Hello class, Professor Sunreis here, and welcome to another episode of Duel Academy replay analysis. This time we are taking a look at the Brave Virtual World deck, which I'm currently testing. I think the deck build is pretty solid for now. You could maybe change out one or two flex spots on the extra deck, maybe swap around the side deck a little. I'm not really too sure about the gammas, but that is going to be decided on this weekend once I do like one or two regionals with the deck list. So anyways, let's don't waste too much time and let's go right into the replay. But before we do that, don't forget to like and subscribe the video. And leave some feedback down in the comments of what I can do better next time, or if you want to see any other decks, or maybe you want to submit your own replays, or you can do this in the comments down below. So let's get right into the replay. So here we are in the replay. We won the rock, paper, scissors, I think. Yeah, we won it. So we go first. 60 versus 42. DB Grinder is crying in his grave. Our opening hand is pretty good with Lulu, Ash, Kowloon, Adventure, Lulu. Now that I think about it, it's actually not that good. I mean, it's fine. We can, if the Lulu gets Ash, we can still extend into Brave Engine, into Needle Fiber Place. The opponent has Tangan, Enchantress, Squamata, Santa Claus, and Foolish. So the opponent is playing some weird form of base deck with some Shadolls. The Santa Claus, I think, is searchable off the Sangan, so that's probably just a one-off to have. We start off with the Kowloon. Kowloon Lulu is like basically the god combo of this deck. It's like so insane how much value you get off that. We will be sending a Qinglong. I think we showed the opponent here that we had, I don't know, it shuffles, right? Maybe that's something to keep in mind, that you always shuffle your hand if you do it like that, because maybe I thought showed my opponent that I have two Lulus here in hand, but those are like very small things. Sending the Qinglong, adding the GG. Of course, we activate the Adventure here, summoning the GG, targeting the Lulu to set a Chucha, I think, yes. Then we will trigger the Adventure, adding a Draco back, and we do the good old play we can do in this deck a lot of times with Adventure plus Virtual World cards, is where you just, the Adventure is just a level 4 extender, which gives you a shit ton of cards. And because you use the Adventure to get the Draco back with any summon, and then you use the Adventure effect to add an Enchantress, discarding the Draco back, and then you use the Qinglong to discard the Enchantress to get a level 4. So you get your whole, you basically get a free discard and a level 4 extender of this engine, which is pretty good. We search the Lulu with the Qinglong, Lau because that's like the last good name we have. Lily is just not good in this deck. Very few times where you actually want to search it, apart from Cupid Pitch Lines, of course. Use the Enchantress, go for a right here. Right summon a token, use those two to get into Coral Dragon, and then on the 5th summon the Baroness, so we actually Nibiru proof. Coral Dragon draws us another card. The draw is a Veiler, which is insane. Then we use Lau on the Chucha, so we can send another Qinglong for follow-up, I assume. Yeah, we definitely want to send a Qinglong here. Qinglong, engrave, summon Lau, summon GG, and Lau into Shen. That's it probably. No, we use the Chucha, of course, on the Shen to make the Chucha on field alive, so we have 2 engrave. And then in end phase, probably, I don't think there's anything more to do. Yeah, end phase, we add back with GG, so we have Lau, Lulu in hand, 2 hand traps, a Qinglong engrave, a Shen on field, and a Baroness. So we have 3 disruption on field, 2 with the hand trap, so that's 5 disruptions. And 3 lines of, like, actually 4 lines of play with the Shen summon, a Qinglong, a Lulu, and a Lau. That's like 5 disruptions, 4 lines of play for the next turn. That's insane. The opponent does have a decent hand as well. The Draco back top deck doesn't really do a lot. So he starts off with a Santa Claus on either the Shen or Baroness, probably the Shen if he's playing a graveyard focused deck like his one. So he starts with the Foolish. We let that go through because it just doesn't make sense to Ash something like a Foolish. That's a very low tempo play. Just hit Ash the hard ones per turn. The Foolish is therefore it's just a consistency card, so no reason to Ash this. Especially blind. Maybe there are scenarios where you want to Ash it, but like very few, and especially not. You never want to Ash it in this case. The punish, of course, he just has another Enchantress in hand, and that would have been so bad. So he activates the right. We let it go through. We decided if we wanted to Ash this, but us having the Chucha is like a really good disruption against the Brave engine. basically no matter what. Thought process here was, okay, if we want to hit the token because it hits the engine the most, if he gets the Griffin plus we are thinking he's playing the base deck plus a Rose Dragon, he still doesn't have enough because if he links into Baroness, we can negate the Rose Dragon with an Ash, and then if he Baroness negates, we Veiler that, and we still have a Baroness for when he has a Talents, which is the card we are playing around here the most, because it's basically the only thing he could have, which you could play around. If he has a Droplet, he has it, but Talents is, in my opinion, the most dangerous card for us right now. So we use the Chucha here to pop the token. The reasoning I just decided on. And as it turns out, it was the correct play. He pitches the Squamana, which scared me, and which made me, for the rest of this matchup, we are going to value the Adventure way higher than the token, just because he's playing Shadolls and he could trigger them, and plus Heart of this. Just wondering what the fuck this deck is. So he sends the Wendy. We decided, okay, do we want to Ash this? But it's just a face down. This is basically just a value card for now, so we don't really Ash it because we have way more value than he has anyways. I think we still have a draw of the Santa Claus, by the way, in the end phase. A normal Sangan, he doesn't really have a lot on here. He goes for an Anaconda. We still have 2 hand traps and the Baroness, so that's super fine. The Sangan, he's going to use to search an Arborea probably, and he just scoops because like he had nothing else to do really. He like could have Arborea'd, he could have Anaconda, then we would have Veilered, then he could have summoned Arborea, go into Needle Fiber, then we would have Ashed, and we still would have had a Baroness even if he had Talents for last hand. So he's siding, we are going second, we side in the Gamma package. We don't draw it, of course, we have double Chucha GG, so that's pretty bad hand, but the opponent blesses us with a card destruction. That's pretty good. I mean, the hand trap lineup is insane, the engine is just not really good. The opponent's hand also is not really good. Him activating this with the Adventure in hand basically makes it so that I'm pretty to 99% sure that he has another Adventure in deck, so we gotta remember that. Our hand is way better now, actually having a name in hand and a way to trigger it, and still 2 hand traps, so it's actually pretty good for us. That was like a bad card destruction on his part. He uses the Enchantress Engrave to activate the right. We are probably going to Ash the Frightful Patrick just because it's a +1 and we are quite in a simplified game, and like a little simplified game state, and this is like a really good card to Ash. I feel like I don't know what his deck does exactly, but I don't want to give him access to the Shadoll, to a fusion to unbreak his Shadolls. He does have a fusion in here, but he's probably playing more than that, and we always had another hand trap for the Adventure. So we hit him with an Ogre, and then he uses the that's not how it works. Yeah, he's gonna link that off into a Link Spider. And then he is going to summon an Anaconda. We had no way to play around that anyway, so the disruptions we've thrown out of him. We always can keep in mind, okay, he could have an Enforcer. The problem is the Schism in his hand, as you are going to see, because we have no out for that whatsoever. We do have a Quinglong. I'm gonna be honest, we don't expect the Schism here. We like, okay, Quinglong on the Enforcer is pretty good. And then he's gonna chain that, and we're like, okay, damn, that's cool for us. We get a free ad later on, but as it turns out, that's a pretty good part on his part, because we are e-tallying and we are just getting screwed over by a window. That's basically window lock for us. So not a lot we can still do here. We summon a Neon, and then we realize, yeah, okay, that's it. Go to game 3. We decide to go first. We side in the, of course, the anti-spell called by, and I think that's it, because the other defensive cards don't really do enough. Our hand is okay. We don't have a name, but we have E-Tally, Griffin Rider, Foolish Burial, Veiler, Enchantress, so that's a pretty good hand against Pot of Avarice, Ariel, Adventure, Beast, and Shadoll Incarnation, so that's a pretty ass hand. As it turns out, his deck is not really good, in my opinion. Like, I mean, maybe it's just like bias of this one match, but it feels like he's playing a lot of bricks. Like, all the Shadolls are basically bricks at this point. In this meta, Yu-Gi-Oh! Every card needs to lead into either a Brave engine, a Hulk engine, a Cherubini engine, or anything like that, in my opinion, to be remotely competitive. We start off by playing normal summon Enchantress and using the Struder, accessing, of course, through the Foolish. Reason is because the Hulk line is just a way to force out the disruption, and then we still had the Veiler and guaranteed Vela and Griffin even through one negate. So I felt like, okay, this is the safest play we can do, and this is also the high roll. If he doesn't have a disruption, we just basically have full combo. Summoning the Hulk with those two, not paying 4k, yeah, now paying 4k. Summoning the Deskbot and then going for basic Hulk lines, summoning the Auroradon. We could have also gone for different routes with the Vela normal summon and then E-Tally, but those are just way too risky in my opinion. We could have Vela E-Tally summoned Chiorvini, not Nyan. Before that we summoned Griffin Rider, and then we can normal Vela, go into Cupid Pitch, and then go into Baroness. That's, now that I think about it, actually a pretty good play. But then we don't have the Griffin Rider and the Vela, so that's like, it feels weird. Go into the Cupid Pitch line, search. Maybe we should have done it like that way, now that I think about it. Cupid Pitch, decrease. Anyways, we are going to talk about that. Juju later on. We summon the Juju with the Cupid Pitch, so the opponent takes 600 burn, and we get to add ourselves a monster with 600 defense, so it's always going to be the Lulu. Lulu on the Juju is insane, because now we get to add Chucha and send Klinglong. Summoning, now we are summoning Coral Dragon. Reason is because we want to force out a Nibiru before we use the Brave Engine, so we can just get 2 monster negates on the field, or 1 monster, 1 Omni negate. Thanks to the Sulkeen, the Chucha we have, we still get another draw with the Coral Dragon. The draw is another Lulu, so that's just follow-up because we already used the normal summon. Now we are setting the Chucha, effect Sulkeen, will summon us a Crystal Ring. Here your opponent had to nib, and if he nibbed, we still would have had played Brave plus Griffin Rider, Vela plus Griffin Rider, so that's a decent board, and still like a lot of follow-up, and even an E-Tally to Ogre something. So that's still like 3 disruptions, so we are pretty good. That's why I feel like the Needle Fiber combo was correct, because we had 3 disruption if it didn't resolve. Adding the banishing the Enchantress, adding the Ride will activate and will summon a token, activating the Adventure of course from the deck. We used the Auroradon here to make some space, tributing self-target the Sulkeen, just so we have the space to actually do our plays. We will summon the Griffin Rider. I thought about not summoning it here and trying to force out an Ogre, but an Ogre would have come on the Hulk combo probably no matter what. If he only has 1 disruption and it's an Ogre, he would have put it on the Hulk combo, because Hulk combo resolving could lead to a Baroness line protecting the Adventure. So and Hulk would have come out anyway, so no reason to like play it fancy. Just summon the Griffin Rider out, get the Draco back, so we have a good discard for the Klinglong. Because all the other discards are like, they all have value in hand. Like this is follow-up, disruption, extension, / disruption. So no reason to try to play it fancy and hopefully get a Ogre out, as it's 99% of the time there's no Ogre in this hand. So we add the GG. Reason for GG here is because it's like the best name in this scenario, because we are not actually extending too much anymore. And we have the E-Tally, so we are actually fine. So we just want to E-Tally a tuner. GG target the Lulu, send a Chucha, make it level 6, any of these 2 with the Chucha. Make any of these 2 level 6, doesn't matter, and then we summon the Shen, and then we have like the most badass line, the most badass board we can go for, like Shen, Crystal Wing, Griffin Rider, and a live Chucha, a hand trap, and end phase we get a Lulu back. That's sadly the only card we could have ended, because we basically only played with Lulu. But there's no way we could have gone for a Klinglong Engrave and still end on that, and I feel like this end board is more than enough to stop a lot of decks. And as you can see, the opponent's hand is not looking too good. He activates the Adventure. We probably Chucha this one, because like I said, we value the Adventure way higher now than the token pop, just because of the Shadoll he's playing. And if you see this hand, if he just gets the Shadoll Beast and just has another draw, that's pretty good. So we definitely want to hit that. We thought about not hitting that, because I read this card a bit, and I was like, wait, is Fatal Adventure not once per turn? But then it's right here. So you can only use both effects once the turn. We negate this with enchant. We negate this because reason is he's still gonna get another adventure. We know he plays 2, so he activates right, gets token, gets adventure. He can still have a bounce, and we have no way of interacting with the bounce apart from a griffin. So might as well use the only monster negate on this one, and then his next play we can still griffin. Or if he has a talent, we have protection against the talents, and we still have a Veiler against everything monster based. So us using the Crystal Wing here is not really that big of a deal because we still have ways to interact with monsters on the field with the Veiler. So this is, in my opinion, just the safest play, and the opponent is gonna concede here, calling out the GG. That was a nice game in my opinion. It's a cool deck he's playing. Maybe he was just a little unlucky, but I feel like playing cards like Pot of Avarice or the Shadolls. It's only natural that you start to brick yourself in a 60 card deck. I don't know if he has any clean starters. He doesn't play Alistar probably, so he has no way of normal summoning get into fusion. So in my opinion, it just feels like a bricky deck. So he cannot be too mad about it. But I don't see the list. I think Cloud Strife is a quite known play. He's like at 883, so he's at least high rated. So he probably knows what he's doing, but maybe he's just playing a fun deck. So anyways, I hope you guys liked this. Replay analysis. If you enjoyed it, like I said, like and subscribe, please. And you guys are dismissed. Class is out. Professor Sunreis out. Peace.